Hey, yo everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing my comic load for the week. So getting back into comic load videos, I'm going to try to do these more regularly than I have been. It's been very sporadic in the past few months, but we're going to try to go back to doing these at least by Sunday each week. So I pretty much read every title this week with the exception of Scooby Apocalypse and Gotham Academy. I'm behind on both of them, but I mean, eventually I'll catch up. If you'd like to, you can follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, and also my Facebook is down below, as well as a Patreon if you want to support my channel. With that said, let's get into the comics this week. We're going to start where we always start, with a little bit of Batman in our life, with Detective Comics 952. This issue is pretty fun. You get Lady Shiva show up and basically beat the shit out of everyone, puts Cassandra Cain in her place, and even puts Batman in his place, kind of reestablishing Shiva as one of the top dogs when it comes down to fighting. I've always said this before, but the top three fighters in DCU has always been kind of a three-way tie between Shiva, Richard Dragon, and Bruce Wayne, and you kind of see it here. Really good stuff. Great ending. Last few panels, very touching moment with Bruce and Cassandra. Really fun issue. Pick it up. Red Hood and the Outlaws, issue number 8. No Bizarro in this. This is all our girl Artemis, and this is kind of like the New 52 introduction to Artemis. If you remember, before the New 52, Artemis was introduced very similarly as an outside clan of the Amazons. She went and participated in a contest that would establish her as the new Wonder Woman. Eventually died, came back to life. You know, she got better. But this is her reintroduction to the New 52 with her origin story. Still involves Wonder Woman, but a bit different. I kind of like it though. Although the contest and the Challenge of Artemis were good stories for their time, she definitely needed a facelift, and this is a great way to get things going. If you like Artemis at all as a character, I recommend picking it up. It is a filler issue, for lack of a better term. It doesn't establish any new story arcs or anything. It just gives you the backstory of Artemis, so you can kind of gauge on whether or not you want to pick it up if you're a casual fan or not. But still, good read. Batgirl and the Birds of Prey, issue number 8. Finally, the series is getting better. The series has been lately, but issue number 8 is fun. We get Nightwing in here, and they go up against Madame Rouge's daughter. I forget her name, but Madame Rouge was a particularly nasty villain that was involved with the New Teen Titans, as well as the Doom Patrol, I think. She did, however, get killed during the New Teen Titans, and yeah, so anyways, this is a fun issue. I really do like the three-way interaction between Barbara, Huntress, and Dick, just because he kind of has a history with both of them. So really fun stuff. This is a good jumping on point if you want to get into Birds of Prey. So read it. Supergirl number 7. So we're going into a new story with the Werewolves of Krypton, which kind of started last issue, but kind of didn't. Basically, a new Kryptonian comes out of the Phantom Zone, and he has this unique ability to turn into a werewolf, and Supergirl goes inside his head. Right off the bat, you're probably thinking this issue isn't going to be good because it's such a silly concept. It's not bad, though. I wouldn't say this is a must-get, but if you're a Supergirl fan, you're not going to be entirely disappointed. There's a few scenes where she goes inside his head, and there's some fun reading when it comes down to that. And the art in this is, in particular, pretty good. I think they did an artist change, and you can tell by the art itself. I think it's just a better tone for what Supergirl is. But in saying that, I don't think this is a necessity, and like I said, the story arc is nothing too gripping. But again, it's good that we're out of Cyborg Superman. Next on the Superman chain is All New Superman. So if you remember from me talking about this is a title that kind of shocked me. I'm enjoying it a lot. Maybe because it's so different and the characters are so different, but it's kind of a fun ride. In particular, this, the new Superman, is trying to help out Lex Luthor take down a speedster that's been spying on him, while at the same time kind of cheating his way to his powers, because if you didn't know, his powers are based off his chi, for lack of a better term, or his ki, or however you want to call it. Basically, how he does different meditations and different ways of unlocking his potential within inside allows him to do certain powers. So it's kind of cool. On the first page, you get to see all his powers laid out. Some of them are actually on there, but some of them are still mystery. So really cool stuff. I like this issue, and pretty fun jumping on point too. But I recommend picking up the whole series because this has been a ride throughout and out. Superman Reborn Part 2 for Action Comics 975. We finally figure out who the other Superman is. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but most likely you guys did get it spoiled online. And with that said, if you didn't know who it was, you're probably looking it up right now. Either case, it was an interesting turn on who the Clark Kent, the doppelganger, was. I was expecting someone else. A lot of people were throwing out Superboy Prime out there. A lot of people were throwing out New 52 Superman. It's neither of them, but it's an interesting pick on who it is. And I'm curious to see how this plays into the whole entire Superman Reborn and Mr. Oz stuff, and how exactly it's going to tie to what Superman will be going forward. With that said, a Superman Reborn tie-in is Superwoman. So Lana is basically in a coma right now, trying to recover, and she's having these dreams where she's talking to dead Lois and dead Clark, and they kind of talk about how things are going to change soon, and they kind of hint to the fact that they're going to be erased, or they're going to change, and their history is going to change, and all that fun jazz. From what it sounds like New 52 and pre-New 52, Lois and Clark are getting merged with each other into one true Superman and Lois. So it's going to see how things work out with that. With that said, do not pick this issue up. It was not good. It was okay, and it's filler. It's not necessary. Captain America, Steve Rogers, issue number 13, finally caught up with this series. We've really been pushing him being kind of evil for a while now. If you have not been reading this series, basically Captain America has been changed by a living embodiment of the Cosmic Cube. I forget its name, don't bother asking me. And he believes he's now Agent Hydra. This issue does a lot with Zemos and kind of them working together to establish his own Hail Hydra situation. This comic has been good, but it hasn't been great, mostly because we've been tethered on the same kind of story for so long. 13 issues in, and he's still kind of evil. I would have liked this been done, but of course they're building this up to, I believe, Secret Empire, which might be a Marvel event that I'll pick up. Who knows? So, it's okay. If you're a Cap fan like mine, you'll pick it up, but other than that, eh. TMNT Universe, issue number 8. This is the second half of the Robo-Donnie arc, and all I have to say is pick it up. TMT is consistently a great comic. Its side series, TMNT Universe, is still only in the early stages. It's 8 issues in. You can get the first issue and build up from there. But if you wanted to jump on, you can jump on with issue number 7 and number 8. Very emotional, and in particular, I like the fact it focuses on Donatello, who is my second favorite turtle, who I think out of all the brothers gets the least amount of limelight. So again, nice stuff with Donatello in this. Pick it up. Justice League Power Rangers, issue number 3. So basically all Justice League members get called in to help out the Power Rangers, and while this is going on, Brainiac takes control of their Megazords. This is a fun ride through and through. I would like to see a little bit more personal interactions with the Power Rangers and with the Justice League. But in saying that, it's a good side story. If you're a sucker like me that loves the Power Rangers to death and love the Justice League in DC Comics, you're going to enjoy this. Deathstroke, issue number 14. This is the beginning of a new story arc, Twilight. Deathstroke is one of the best comics from Rebirth. Christopher Priest has been doing some pretty great stuff on this. The only thing that's tough about this this comic it was a very slow start. But now it's building momentum. Issue number 14, Deathstroke now has his suit back, and he's going after some bad guys. And while this happens, he gets taken out. And Power Girl finds him, the new Power Girl, the one that has the enlarging power, and she tries to help him out. However, he does not leave his battle unscathed. We also get to see more of him screwing with his children's lives, too. But this is a phenomenal issue, probably one of my picks of the week. I recommend picking it up, Deathstroke. Suicide Squad, all I can say is betrayal, betrayal, betrayal. 2 members of the Suicide Squad are traitors. Who are they? Well, if you look at the cover, you might be able to guess one of them. Suicide Squad's format, I'm starting to get used to more and more. Half the issue being one story, the other half of the issue either being connected or being a separate story. Fun ride. If I had to give it a ranking, I'd give it like a B+. But this has been a consistently good comic since the New 52 re-debut. Titans! So the Fearsome Five are pretending to be good guys, but they're not good guys. They're assholes. They're dicks. They're complete, utter jerks. And the Titans have to go and investigate what's going on. And while this is happening, Bumblebee basically dons the costume and tries to help out the Titans. Titans has been a fun story through and through. I'm not the biggest fan of the art done by Brett Booth. However, he does do some great panels. This is a great picture of Nightwing, and even this is a great picture of Wally. He does good for dynamic poses. I just don't care for his face that he does, because sometimes they just look way too exaggerated. But in saying that, I mean, art is all preference. In saying that, the art does work with the tone of the comic, and it is a solid read. I recommend picking this up. Probably get the previous issue to kind of gauge, kind of as a jumping on point. But yeah, really fun. Earth 2 Society, issue number 22, the end of Earth 2. So this is the last story for Earth 2, and it kind of really does what needed to be done. I think one of the worst decisions that ever happened with Earth 2 was destroying Earth 2, having them go to another Earth 2, and then I think the writers realized, oh wow, that was a bad idea, and then decided to go and recreate the original Earth 2, but a little different. It's not a perfect ending, but it's a good sign-off. You get to see some title switch. There's a new Batman. There's a new feel to the Justice Society. There's a new Robin. But this is a really great picture with Val Zod, and you see in his S a reflection of the new Justice Society. Really cool send-off. It kind of leaves it open if you want to do more Earth 2 stories, but, I mean, yeah. Should you pick it up? Only if you want to. I didn't like the skip between the last issue and this issue because I felt like there was an issue missing. But again, this is the end of the series, so only if you were already committed. Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps, issue number 16. The better of the two Green Lantern stories, in my opinion. This really focuses on Guy Gardner being exactly what he does best, an absolute jerk that punches everything in his face. I enjoyed this thoroughly, and I highly recommend picking this up. Flash, issue number 18. So this deals with Wally finding out who his father is, who was the first Reverse Flash, Daniel West, and Barry going into Belle Reeves to help him out. And while in Belle Reeves, we find out that he's not there, which ties into the last Suicide Squad comic where, I mean, spoiler, he gets killed. He sacrifices himself for the team. So there's no closure here for Wally. Poor Wally. But it's still a great read, and Flash is starting to pick up. The first story arc I didn't care for, but this story arc is great. And what in particular is they're still chasing down Daniel, and we get a little meeting with Captain Boomerang, which is pretty fun. Wonder Woman, issue number 18, continuing Godwatch and continuing the early years of Wonder Woman. This we get to see how Barbara becomes a cheetah, and we get a little bit more backstory on the villains. As much as I like Greg Rucker, I don't feel as though this is the strongest read for Wonder Woman. I still think the New 52 was a little bit stronger when it came down to it. But it's still an okay read. I recommend picking it up if you're a Wonder Woman fan, but other than hardcore Wonder Woman fans, maybe this may not be the best jumping on point. And finally, ending things off, we got the Justice League of America continuing, this is issue number 2, continuing the team working together to basically take down these aliens that are threatening Earth, and one of them somehow becomes a king to a nation because apparently he's actually the heir to this nation. The Justice League has to work with the rebels to basically defeat him. This is a fun series. The only thing I do not like is the villains. That's it. With the promise of this new Justice League, because we've had a couple of Justice League of America titles, we basically have two Justice League teams. We have the main one and we have the Justice League of America. And I thought this was going to be a little edgier. I thought this was going to deal a lot more with some bigger personal threats, like maybe go up against Amanda Waller again, or take on Checkmate, or go against some secret organization, or take on the OMAX, or go up against Brother Eye. I don't know, but generic super villains from space, not a big fan. And I don't recognize them. I don't know if they were in the DC universe beforehand. I'm basically a living encyclopedia. So one or two things tell you something. One, they were created solely for this comic and I don't care about them. Or two, I didn't care about them beforehand to remember them. So yeah. But it's still good reading and still recommend picking it up. If I had to take a pick of the week, it would either be Deathstroke or Detective Comics. Detective Comics is really, really kicking it up. Really good. Missing Tim. Wish Tim was part of it, but still good cast on there. So with that said, I'm going to end this video here. Thank you again for watching. Again, all my stuff is down in the description, and this is Andrew saying peace out for now.